Ray Dalio is a highly influential billionaire investor and hedge fund manager. He's the founder of Bridgewater Associates, one of the world's largest hedge funds. For today's video, we will talk about Ray Dalio's warning for everyone, since we are nearing a banking collapse and recession. In one of his speaking engagements, Ray Dalio said that there are three major forces happening now. This crisis didn't happen in our lifetime, but according to him, it has happened many times in history. Well, it seems like this crisis has a long and dramatic history, like a never-ending soap opera, so I'll run you through this phenomenon. Number 1, Dalio said, one of the forces happening now is the creation of a lot of debt and printing of a lot of money to buy that debt.
The creation of a lot of debt and the printing of a lot of money to buy that debt, particularly because the government is running large deficits, and so they don't have enough money, so that government has to print that money.
Imagine a government trapped in a perplexing predicament. Their pockets are as empty as a stand-up comedian's audience at a spelling bee. Why, you may ask? Well, they've developed a penchant for splurging on lavish projects without a thought for the consequences. Now, faced with a ballooning budget deficit, they find themselves in a sticky situation. What's a government to do when the piggy bank is empty? Simple, my friends, fire up the money printing presses. It's like having a magical ATM that never runs out of cash. In the hands of these debt printers, it becomes the ultimate solution to their financial woes. Need to pay off debts? Just print more money. Who cares about the fallout when there's a seemingly never-ending supply of ink and paper? But the consequences of such a wizardly approach are far from amusing. As the government drowns in a sea of its own making, inflation rears its ugly head. Prices skyrocket faster than a space shuttle on caffeine, and the value of your hard-earned cash plummets faster than a snowball in the Sahara. Suddenly, life becomes a precarious balancing act, where everyday expenses feel like tightropes to navigate. As the debt printers continue their money-printing extravaganza, the economy starts resembling a circus without a ringmaster. Businesses, unsure of what tricks lie ahead, become hesitant to invest and expand. Who wants to play the lottery when the government keeps changing the rules? Job opportunities dwindle, and economic growth staggers along like a tipsy tightrope walker. Meanwhile, our debt printers, oblivious to the ripples of their actions, fail to grasp the wider implications. On the global stage, their once prestigious currency loses its charm. Foreign investors, cautious of their reckless ways, seek greener pastures. The country's reputation takes a tumble, much like a bumbling acrobat missing the safety net. If the problem of excessive debt and money printing persists, the consequences can be dire. First and foremost, inflation would run rampant like a herd of wild bulls in a china shop. Prices would skyrocket, making everyday goods and services unaffordable for the average citizen. The value of savings would erode faster than an ice cream cone on a hot summer's day, leaving individuals and families struggling to make ends meet. Businesses would face mounting challenges as uncertainty takes hold. The distorted economy, driven by reckless monetary policies, would deter investment and hinder long-term planning. Job opportunities would dwindle and unemployment rates would soar. Economic growth would stagnate, resembling a lethargic sloth rather than a bustling engine of prosperity. Number 2, Ray Dalio also fears about the internal conflict due to the largest wealth gap.
The second force is the internal conflict, the amount of conflict that's internally, largely due to the largest wealth gaps that we've had since the 30s.
The internal conflict resulting from a significant wealth gap can be a simmering volcano ready to erupt at any moment. When a society experiences extreme disparities in wealth distribution, it sets the stage for social tensions, discontent, and an array of economic and political consequences. As the wealth gap widens, tensions rise faster than a souffle in an overheated oven. People can't help but raise an eyebrow at the lavish lifestyles of the elite, wondering if they accidentally skipped the class on becoming a millionaire. This divide can lead to deep-rooted resentment, fueling feelings of marginalization and powerlessness among those on the lower rungs of the economic ladder. Economically, a significant wealth gap can hinder social mobility and impede overall economic growth. When wealth and resources are concentrated in the hands of a few, it restricts access to education, healthcare, and other essential services for the majority. As a result, talent and potential remain untapped, hindering the development of a productive and dynamic workforce. This, in turn, stifles innovation, constrains economic progress, and perpetuates a cycle of inequality. From a political perspective, a wide wealth gap can erode trust in institutions and democratic processes. When a small elite wields disproportionate influence over policymaking and the direction of the nation, ordinary citizens may feel that their voices are unheard and their interests disregarded. This can lead to disillusionment with the political system, increased polarization, and even social unrest as people seek to challenge the status quo. These issues can undermine social cohesion and strain the fabric of society, creating a breeding ground for discontent, frustration, and potentially even violence. Number 3. The rising power conflicts of some countries.
The third force is the rising power, challenging the existing power, largely in the form of China and to some extent Russia.
In the world of geopolitics, power struggles between influential nations like China and Russia can have far-reaching consequences that extend beyond political boundaries. When powerful countries engage in conflicts, whether overt or covert, the aftermath can shape the global landscape, akin to a high-stakes game where the winners dictate the rules. Geopolitical conflicts can lead to military interventions, trade disputes, economic sanctions, and diplomatic standoffs. The winners of these power struggles gain significant influence and leverage over the global order, which has a cascading effect on various economic aspects. It's like a high-stakes game where winners get to rewrite the rules of the world. One critical implication is the stability of financial institutions, particularly banks. Geopolitical conflicts can disrupt international trade, create uncertainties, and increase risks for investors. In times of heightened tensions, investors may become wary, leading to capital flight, decreased investment, and potential damage to the banking sector. The collapse of banks, a worst-case scenario, can further destabilize economies and create a ripple effect, potentially triggering a recession. Moreover, the state of the US dollar, being a global reserve currency, can be impacted by power conflicts among major countries. Geopolitical tensions can erode confidence in the US dollar, leading investors and nations to diversify their currency holdings. This diversification can result in a weakening demand for the dollar, potentially causing its value to decline. A depreciating US dollar can have various consequences, such as higher import costs, inflationary pressures, and shifts in global trade dynamics. In addition, a power conflict-induced recession is a plausible outcome. When major powers engage in military or economic confrontations, it disrupts global supply chains, hampers trade flows, and undermines investor confidence. The resulting economic instability can trigger a domino effect, leading to reduced consumer spending, business closures, job losses, and a contraction of economic activity. Such a recession can have far-reaching impacts on both domestic and global scales. Looking ahead, it's natural to have concerns and fears regarding the uncertainties we face. The public expressed a sense of unease about the future. By fostering transparency, cooperation, and forward-thinking policies, we can collectively shape a more secure and prosperous future. What do you think about this topic? Share your thoughts with us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.